everybody. I'm Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger, and welcome to Season 2 of the Holistic True Wealth series in collaboration with Mupo Entertainment and Mupo TV. So, as the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness and a certified holistic coach, I am of the belief we all should be living a life of abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And as a certified holistic coach today, I am taking a finance-first approach to achieving all-encompassing personal well-being by embracing new ways to true wealth in the modern world. And by exploring diverse paths, it really opens the door to true wealth in every sense. And today, we're facing a paradigm shift that is revolutionizing our futures in ways that are unprecedented, and to remain stagnant is to be left behind. So, as a global ambassador for an internationally known, innovative, high-tech company revolutionizing the future with today's technologies like real estate, finance, education, AI, metaverse, I'm deeply committed to empowering individuals and communities worldwide to have the opportunity to take advantage of coming in on the ground floor with ecosystems already accredited by giants such as Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, just to list a few, to diversify their portfolios in this ever-evolving digital world. And true wealth is not only about money. It's about the combination of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial, which has been my journey for the last 8 to 10 years now. And my mission goes beyond that business aspect, but by providing global-minded entrepreneurs and individuals with new ways to true wealth in the modern world so they can circumvent the system and go from financial fatigue to financial freedom. It's really about creating opportunities, providing access, and building a more inclusive and supportive digital world where everyone has a chance to thrive. And true wealth, as I said, is not about money. I want to reiterate that because it's the combination of the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and that financial fitness platform where there's balance across all of these areas. So, and with that, myself and my special guests are all about bringing awareness around alternative solutions from all aspects, leading one towards a path to overall true wealth. The mission: provide real solutions for real people who are serious about wanting to go from barely surviving to thriving again. So with that, before we get started, I bring my special guest on today. You can find these interviews in this podcast series by going to mupotv.com, or you can actually download the Android or the iPhone app, which is where we are streaming to 144 countries on Fire TV, Roku, and Vimeo, and soon possibly on Paramount as well. So with that, I'm going to take a quick short commercial break, and we'll be right back with my special guest today. Thanks. Okay, we are back, and joining us today all the way from Iowa is my very special guest, April Wyett. And April and I met through a group called the Hounds of Business, and it's an incredible LinkedIn networking group that is led by the Hound King himself, Mr. Michael Asherbranner. So April and her husband are world travelers with an RV lifestyle, a wellness expert for many, many years, drawing her own journey from burnout and renewal, which I'm very, very familiar with, and brings a holistic approach. I love that holistic approach that includes biodynamic breath work and trauma release systems. And she hosts her own podcast show titled Living with Intention Podcast. And her mission is to heal the modern epidemic of disconnection and more. So welcome to the show today, April.
Oh, Jeffrey, thank you so much for having me here. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening because you're showing up wanting more in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we dive into the questions today, share a little bit about who April is outside of your amazing business and what you do.
Outside my business, let's see here. Well, I love nature. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and anytime I get a chance to go outside, walk in nature, connect with the plants, animals, all of that, because we are all connected.
Mhm.
We are all energy. We'll talk a little bit more about that too. But that is my absolute favorite to go to. It just really helps to ground and
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
be. And this is what I'm here for. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. So, I shared, in the introduction that we both share similar experiences of corporate burnout. So, with that, share your story that led you up to making that decision to trade your corporate career to the path that you're currently on today.
Mm. Yes. Well, it's pretty amazing, right? When we look back and we see the
Mhm.
journey that each of us, each and every one of us here today has been on. And we really can't see, past the woods when we're in it.
Right.
And it took my husband and my body to keep telling me something's got to shift, something's got to change, right? But I kept pushing. I kept pushing. Nope, I got to show up. I got to do these trainings. I have to be part of this nonprofit, basically a cornerstone for the programming that I was part of to help at risk youth to gain employment. And that's a lot of pressure, right?
Sure.
And also working with youth, from 16 to
Mm.
age 24 with adversities, big adversities they faced, and then meet the programming goals
Right.
and all the things. So
Lots of
I would
stress.
leave. It was a lot of stress, a lot of
Yeah.
stress. And at that time, I was just focusing on the youth. I wasn't focusing on me. I was focusing on those numbers. And my husband made a comment. He said, you leave so excited in the morning, you love your job, but when you come back, there's hardly anything of you left. And
Yeah.
at that time, I started on the side part time for my own starting inclination, right? Moving away from that of supporting people one on one with Reiki and sound healing and working with those people who were showing up ready to heal, ready for something more in their life. And he suggested, well, why don't you just quit your full-time job and do that? Do what you love. And Jeffrey, it was interesting because it took me a little bit to own that. It wasn't
Sure.
it wouldn't be a hobby anymore. I'd have to really show up
Exactly.
and own that. And in a community to where it was uh, not so common for that type of work, for that holistic
Exactly.
healing, you know. So as soon as I recognized that and I stepped into it and owned it, then of course things started to flow for me. And then I started working with another nonprofit. Actually, they recruited me. They heard that I left the youth program, and they wanted me to provide wellness classes, talking about breath work, talking about your nervous system, what's happening when we're stressed,
Mm.
giving tools and techniques
Yeah.
for their participants to ease that stress as they were looking, these are adults now, looking
Sure.
for jobs. So I was very excited to be part of is Project Iowa in Des Moines,
And
and
that's awesome.
still am
Yeah.
part of that
Yeah.
community. And then expanding from there. So really
Yeah.
recognizing when that burnout was happening, I was on that hamster wheel, kept thinking, oh, I have to do this in order to prove, right? I
Right.
think that's the
Yeah.
trap we get in.
Exactly.
And when I could do something that I loved and really immersed myself in it, then things flowed a lot easier.
Yeah, and goes back to my introduction about providing real solutions for real people who are seriously looking for change. Because I got caught into that Western medicine where my doctor wanted to put me into a sixth medication, and I'm like, no, I'm having problems with the five now. Why add a sixth? So that's when I started to explore holistic, because there are alternative options out there outside of Western medicine. I don't take away 100% from Western medicine, because, hey, I'm the first to raise my hand when I'm passing a kidney stone. Give me that morphine. So I don't want to go through
Yes.
that pain.
Yes. And
So,
when you say holistic, Jeffrey, there's a lot of now it's called CAM services. So it's complementary alternative medicine.
there you
So
go.
that's chiropractic, that's acupuncture,
Yep.
that's Reiki, that's
It's
sound
all,
healing, massage therapy, right?
yeah,
Encompassing the whole person. And that gives the client or the patient, I say it empowers them to make
right.
choices that feel
Yeah,
good to them that complements the Western medicine.
exactly. Rather than going to the book and saying, okay, well, you'll have to try this. Let's try this medication.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it, where you've got options. And that's what I loved about it when I started to explore holistic. So since 2009, you've been really transforming lives through your deep personal approach to the mind body wellness, helping individuals break free from the stress, tension, and emotional overwhelm. Please share the process, your process, with our viewers, because I know that each individual has their own unique, I'm assuming, tailored process from you.
Mhm. Yes. Well, it all starts with our mind, and our mind is so powerful.
Mhm.
It wants to protect us. Although when we're stuck in those modes of, uncertainty and the chronic stress and things, then that becomes like the hyper vigilant,
Right.
right? And our bodies are
Right.
responding.
Yeah.
So what I do is I help my clients understand how that mind body connection's working and how to self-regulate their nervous system. Also, I want to talk about Dr. Jill Bolt. She wrote a book, My Stroke of Insight. She is a
Mm.
brain scientist, and she discovered the 90-second rule. If anybody can listen to this right now, if you could take this away from this is a game changer. So when we think or experience something stressful or that heightens us, I should say, kind of gets our alert system on, the brain releases those chemicals. Well, the
Right.
chemicals will go down into the body and they only stay for 90 seconds if you don't perpetuate it. If
Mm.
you don't allow those extra thoughts to come in to validate the emotion, the sensation that you're feeling. If you pause for
Exactly.
90 seconds, it will subside. And I have to say, it works. This morning, nobody knows about this, but me and Jeffrey, I was sitting at the Y this morning waiting for my husband to finish swimming. And I was looking at the clock going, I got to go. I got to get to this interview. But I just sat calmly at the table. And I asked myself, how do I want this to look? How do I want to respond to my husband when he comes out, when my mind's saying he's 15 minutes late? I'm going to be 15 minutes late, right? So
Yeah.
I just breathed. I looked outside. I watched the trees moving. And I said to myself, things will work out the way it needs to. Because I did
Yeah.
feel that heighten. My brain did release those chemicals. I felt that right away, right? That little bit of
Mhm.
anxiety
Mhm.
rise.
Yeah.
But I made that choice. And that's with the mindfulness. That's with being aware of when we feel heightened or activated, and then shifting those
Shit.
thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's enhancing the emotional intelligence. That's
Awesome.
where that's where we really build that resiliency to the stress and anxiety.
Absolutely. So great points that you bring up. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. And again, I am a global ambassador, and I share information about these new technologies that are really making paradigm shifts in the world that we live today, that are changing the future. And there are opportunities for people to become financially stress free with these new technologies. And that's something that I share in my journey, because today I'm totally financially free, stress free. And it brings some really new journeys in my life that I'm sharing with others, because again, as I go back to the beginning, the goal is to provide real solutions for real people who are looking. So we'll be right back with April. We are back, and in my introduction of April, I stated that you do have a holistic approach, which we've been talking about, but it includes the biodynamic breath work and trauma release system. Can you share a little bit about that with the viewers today?
Oh, I would love to. So the biodynamic breathwork and trauma release system, I'll just say BBTRS, is a connected breath, and it works with the nervous system. And literally, science has shown how the emotions that are trapped within our body, when we experience some trauma, overwhelm, and it's a chronic, happening, keeps happening, or we keep reliving it in our minds when we think about it, our bodies are responding.
Sure.
And where that is trapped is in the fascia. So that's the connected tissue between the muscles. And this is life changing. It has changed how I view my body, how I work with clients, as I experienced huge shifts. And so to go back a little bit, I just want to go back a little bit. How I learned about it was I was working in the correctional facilities here in Iowa, and I was offering breathing techniques, but I was doing the box breath where you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4, hold. And I noticed the shift with these individuals because they had never been in the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. They've just lived and survived from the fight, flight, freeze. And especially in prison, it's not a resort. Yeah. It's not a relaxation. Constantly on. And so when they experienced that little box breath, they had no words to express what they were feeling. And then I thought, there's something to this breath work. So I started researching, and I found BBTRI. It's the Institute of the Biodynamic Breath Work, and their training. And that's what drew me in. It's not a weekend training. It's not a one little certificate and you're done. It was over 2,000 hours and in-person trainings. I went to 7-day intensive trainings and then virtual as well. So I'm certified in both. So back to the BBTRS is it works with the breath, because that's the first thing we hold when we are heightened. When we're activated, we hold our breath. So it helps us to get into a rhythmic breathing. Then it is about also touch. So being able to touch into certain places where you feel the tension, into acupuncture places, right? That helps to relieve the tension. And then we have movement. We need to move the body, because just like, think about a rabbit. I think everybody knows what a rabbit is here. And when it's
hopefully
right? Or some animal that when you come upon it, it freezes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we do when we're in trauma or in
Sure.
stressful
Yeah.
situation, we
Yeah.
freeze.
That's it.
So breathing, movement, touch, also sound. So
Mm,
sound of music, sound from our own voice too. Even just a sigh, like a that's moving energy up from your abdominal area, up through your throat, your heart space, where most of us do keep a lot of tension there.
exactly.
And
Yes.
then also um, it involves emotion,
Mm,
allowing yourself to feel, because a lot of times our minds, or we were conditioned to believe, there's no time to cry. There, we have to pick ourselves up by our
right.
bootstraps and just keep
Right.
going. And emotions are messy, and people feel uncomfortable when especially small children are expressing their emotions.
Yeah.
And then the
Absolutely.
last part, yeah. And the last part is meditation. So at the end, it's a little integration process. So that's what a session kind of looks like, is I walk people through those 6 components of the BBTRS. But what sets it apart from other breathwork practices is having a trauma-informed practitioner such as myself create that space, and also finding a resource, finding a place where you feel okay in your body. It feels
Yeah.
maybe more open, it feels more vibrant. Or if you're not able to find an internal resource, maybe it's an external, maybe it's your pet, maybe it's a piece of art that brings you comfort, or a photo of a family, or something that brings that peace within you. So what we do is we gently pendulate into that slight activation with the breath, and it's a connected breath. So we're not getting out of our heads or
Not
anything.
getting out of the head. Right. It's
Yeah,
staying
we're
in
very conscious.
focus. Yeah.
Yes, very aware of what's happening with the body as we're breathing. And then we pendulate easily back into the resource. So that way, the nervous system has a chance to regulate.
Hmm. Hmm.
It can feel, and the mind can say, oh, okay, I can be with tension, and yet I can shift into this resource, and that's safe. That's where the
Right.
healing begins, because most of the time everybody's running around either hyper,
Hmm.
up here,
Yeah. Yeah.
and running on the hamster wheel, or hypo, where they're really shut down and they
Sure.
can't get off the couch.
Yeah.
So we want to find that cohesive balance between the hyper and hypo. We want to bring people into that space and empower them to
Hmm.
understand their body more. We have
Right.
this amazing body, and yet we really don't know a lot about it. So this is why I absolutely love the biodynamic breath work and trauma release system.
Yeah.
And it's
That's awesome.
definitely, yeah, it changed
That's
my life.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
During the training, I remembered something happened to me when I was 9 years old. I was in a horrific car accident with my mother. And alls I knew is that I went to sleep in the back of a Volvo, thank God, a Volvo station wagon in the 70s, no seatbelt laws, right?
Right. I remember
And,
them.
and then I woke up and I was under the car. So I didn't know how I got out of the car. My mother rolled it. I flew out the back window. But during my training, and remember, this is intensive training, so
Sure.
not everybody will have this experience like I did. But when I was breathing, my support person, it was in person, supported me and touched into one of those
Hmm.
acupressure points. And my body just flew back into this weird kind of like a reversed C. And in a flash, I saw my 9-year-old self flying out the back window.
Wow.
And that's
That's
how
powerful.
it's so powerful. So
Yeah.
it's all layers, right? And it's all gentle and organic. and I follow my client's lead. That's what's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, that's great. And my journey basically took me to the point where rather than react, because I was a reactor to triggers
Mhm.
and stress and so forth. So now it's evaluate. I take a step back, evaluate why is this happening to me? What am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to take away from it? So forth and so on. And that has been a game changer for me, um, because when I went home to a family holiday event, I went into the kitchen and my twin brother reacted, and he reacts 10 times more than I did. And I looked and I'm like, oh my God, that was me like 2 years ago. So it gave me perspective with that. So
Yes.
a big game changer. However you can find those ways of reducing those triggers, and then just bringing that stress level from a high level down here, and then work with that, because it really impacts the body. So we're coming up to the end here, and I've got your connection on, you're on LinkedIn. So if those people who are looking for what April has to offer here, reach out to her on LinkedIn. And my last question for you today is, if there was one nugget, one piece of advice that you could provide, one, hopefully more, or maybe not more, maybe one, at least one. I mean, we want to reach out at least minimally to want to change one person's life, um, who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they want to level up to that next level, personally, professionally, or a combination of both. What would that be?
Hmm. Yeah, just as you described, Jeffrey, it's all about the awareness of, okay, I'm feeling
Mhm.
this overwhelm. And instead of letting that emotion drive the bus, put yourself in the driver's seat and step back from the situation and give yourself ease and grace. And
Exactly.
it takes practice. It's a
It
drop in
does.
the bucket. It really is, Jeffrey, isn't it? It's a drop in the bucket. And then soon it'll be like, wow, I didn't fly off the handle like I used to. Or, oh, I can see that pattern now in that other person without judgment, right? We're not here
Right.
to judge others either,
Right. Yep. Yep.
because no one else can make you feel anything. It's all up here and it's our perceptions. So
Exactly.
just being aware of that and having that ease and grace, that's what I offer everyone
Awesome.
here, is just to be aware, and that 90-second rule that I shared
The
too.
night, right? Exactly. That's awesome. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for taking the time today from your busy schedule, because I know you're all over the place. You got so many people you're talking to and helping and stuff. I really appreciate that. And for those who are, watching today, uh, if you're interested in portfolio diversification and just starting to get educated and learn about these technologies today, and this is not learning how to program or learning how to really understand these technologies. It's about basic understanding, like kindergarten level, and the opportunities that it provides people with new ways of investments. You're investing in your portfolio with stocks and bonds and other types of things. This is a different type of investment, but similar in investment strategies, but on a different platform, which is decentralized versus centralized. And I hold monthly webinars to educate people about what we've got going on. And if you are interested in getting some information first, that's the goal. Get some information first. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. Because this is not for everybody, and it's really about embracing new ways to true wealth in the modern world, because a lot of people are looking for holistic options, and this is more of a holistic financial fitness type of program, or
Mm,
educating people about our broken and corrupt systems. How are your portfolios doing? Some are doing great, some are not doing great, many are not doing great. So it really brings in that perspective, so you can scan that QR code, because I'm educating those today who are looking for what's happening today that's going to impact the world 3 to 5 to 10 years down the road. You think about Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, and Amazon back in their day, decades ago, Where are they today? Well, that's where we are today with this technology. We're in a new world of technology, and there's a lot of opportunity out there. So embracing, this holistic approach, as I call it, we can thrive a state of well-being. All right, and we can achieve this state of well-being that is sustainable and fulfilling, leading us to live our best lives.
Ah,
And so with that, thank you again, April, for coming on board, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the inside, everybody. Have a good
thank
one.
you. Thank you, everyone.
You thought I was playing? Huh. You thought I was playing? Huh.